is it? Dragons? Trouble? Don't suppose you'd enchant my sword. Dull old blade can barely cut butter.
Divines bless you. May the ground you walk quake as you pass.
I have a lot of respect for the Restoration School. Skyrim could use more healers.
Spare some gold for a veteran?
Got to thinking. Maybe I'm the Dragonborn, and I just don't know it yet. So, you can cast a few spells. Am I supposed to be impressed? Watch the skies, traveler.
I hid here in solitude for a long time, but war follows a man until it's done with him. You know you can afford a septim or two?
I have to wonder. What does the Dragonborn do once he's been summoned by the Greybeards? Can the Thu'um be taught, like any skill?
Them Imperials left me to die in Anvil, and I had to fight my way back home. Then they followed me back here.
The Divines saved me from the streets, and they can save you from your trials as well. May the Divines guide and keep you.
Can you spare a septim? Lost an eye during the Great War, or I'd earn it myself. Look at it. That's real Nord craftsmanship, that is. Let me show you an old trick I learned as a scout. Makes it harder for the enemy to notice you. It's best you leave me be. Yes? Sure, you make your retreat, and I'll make mine. A coin or two for a veteran? It's not much to ask.
May you be saved by the Divines, as I once was.
Get your fresh fruit and produce here.
No lollygagging.
Hello, yes.
Welcome to the Bard's
Dean of
College.
History.
I'm the
And
headmaster
scribe work
here.
when
How
I
may I
find
help
some
you?
quiet time.
Always a pleasure to meet a prospective bard. You should be aware that many apply, but we accept very few people. When possible, we ask applicants to perform tasks the college needs completed. In this case, I do have a task befitting an aspiring bard. Elisif has forbidden the burning of King Olaf, a festival put on by the Bard's College. We need to change her mind. To convince her, I want to read King Olaf's verse, a part of the Poetic Edda, the living history of Skyrim. Unfortunately, the verse was lost long ago.
Back to your practice.
Yes, according to Giraud, our history's keeper, the portion of the Edda dealing with King Olaf might still exist in Dead Man's Respite. I need you to retrieve the poem. Not much, to be honest. Their return was a shock to us all. Gerard Germain has some tomes about them in the library, if you're interested. Not much. But as a bard, I find the whole affair depressing. There are no heroes in this war, no winners to be had, and no real conclusion. If you want something a bard can dig into, look to the dragons. 1,000 years from now, Skyrim will have changed rulers dozens of times, but the return of the dragons, that story is once in an era. As you may be aware, Elisif's husband, High King Torrig, was recently killed. Elisif mourns her husband deeply, and she feels that a festival that burns a king in effigy is distasteful. I tried to convince her the festival is many centuries old and celebrates solitude, but I need proof. I believe King Olaf's verse will provide that proof.
Yes, well, see that you keep at it. That is all.
I think Giraud here would give you the best explanation of both it and the history of King Olaf's verse. You should speak to him about it. I wish you luck in finding the verse.
My position, Dean of History, actually covers a wide range of subjects. I teach poetry, writing, history, and the finer points of court life.
Answer's about a week away.
Good to meet a prospective bard.
Early rendition tomorrow, understand?
Oh, thank you. I've been working on an original.
Ah, yes. Adonato's new work. Shorter than I expected, but words must be judged on merit, not length. I'll look over this later. Why don't you take this for your trouble? He's sending you after King Olaf's verse, then. That's good. We shouldn't leave it lying around now that I figured out where it is. The verse was Svafnir's contribution to the Poetic Edda, the living history of Skyrim. Each bard adds to the Edda in his or her time. And a very ancient one. The verse criticized the reigning King Olaf. He was so incensed the bard was put to death and all the copies burned. At least, that's what we thought until I translated some ancient texts a year or so ago. We now believe King Olaf buried the truth with the bard. If I'm right, Svafnir and King Olaf's verse lie in Dead Men's Respite, along with the burial chamber of King Olaf himself. Be careful. You might find more than just King Olaf's verse in Dead Man's Respite.